Yo, we're back with Disco's favorite segment of the show, the Lucha Libre Minute with Roy Lucier. Boom.
That's never been my favorite part of the show, ever.
You always tell me.
I'd never tell you. I never
You always
said
go,
that.
are we going to do it or not?
You're reporting, but what you're doing is misinformation, disinformation right now. It's right off the bat.
Well, people can choose to believe who they want, but you always ask me, are we going to do the Lucha Libre thing this week? If you didn't care, you wouldn't ask. Boom.
All right, what we got, Roy?
Hey, how you guys been?
Been all right. How about you?
Happy belated Thanksgiving, everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving to you.
Hey, Konnan, how was your Thanksgiving?
Cool.
Good to hear.
As long as I'm not in the hospital ever again, it'll always be cool.
When you told me about that the other week, it was, man, my heart goes out to you, and I'm sure Stacey.
It's all good, bro. It's all good. I'm out, and that's all that matters. And every day I'm recuperating.
Yeah. Well, regardless, my thoughts are going to be with you for a very long time.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, so let's go on to some Lucha Libre news. Before we start, let's throw a shout out and a congrats to soon-to-be parents Erica Steiner and Ryan Satin, who announced yesterday they are expecting in May of 2025.
Is he a friend of yours?
Yeah, he is, yeah.
All right.
That's new, but Roy, time out.
Yeah.
If you're reporting, the first thing you report is Ryan Satin and his girl are having a kid. I can't be too enthusiastic about the rest of the news, to be honest with you.
Disco, that is pertinent information for the K100 listeners, though. They remember Ryan well, I'm sure.
No, it's impertinent because Ryan went on a. You always have to be Mr. Nice Guy. So Ryan actually said, "I'm never ever going to cover AAA or anything that has to do with Lucha Libre for something we told him in a tweet or something like that." So he's not a friend of the show.
But that's what I can never understand. And
you listened to every show, so you must have heard when we buried him.
Oh no, I remember. It's just, how can you consider yourself a serious journalist,
right?
If you don't,
it's like if I told you, hey, you can't talk about Consejo or Harry Ruiz. Talk about them all you want. They're in the industry. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I will give you that. And so out, everybody knows out there. Never once has Konnan told me, by the way, Roy, don't talk about this subject before we go on the air. You've never once said that.
Yeah, I never will.
Whether it's Nalcapan, Consejo, any of that. You've always said, go ahead.
Bro, I had Dave Meltzer on a couple, I don't know, maybe 2 months ago or something like that. And he said that I was one of the very few guys that never complained about what I wrote about him, meaning the majority hits him up and says, why do you say that? Why do you say this? Because, you know what I'm saying? It's like, all right, continue.
Ridiculous. Also out there, if we have any listeners in San Luis Potosí, Ayako Hamada put out an urgent message today looking for blood donations for her father, the legendary Gran Hamada, who is not doing well. So just if we have any listeners in that area, and I'm sure we do, please think about going to a local blood donation center. Just putting that out there.
All right.
I'm sure you've had some great times with Gran Hamada at some shows over the years, Konnan, haven't you?
Yeah, Gran Hamada, for people that don't know, was this Japanese guy that came to Mexico, but he was kind of too small for Japan, and they put him in the main events in Mexico, and he was very charismatic, very great technical wrestler, kind of a high flyer for his time, and a super, super nice guy. So if you in San Luis Potosí and you can help him out, please do. He's a legend in the game and have been in bad health for the last few years.
Yeah. Go on to AAA news. You guys got a bunch of shows coming up next weekend, December 6th in Tijuana. I assume, are you in good enough health to start going to some of these shows?
Not till next year, probably.
Okay, yeah, because I did, and I just want to point this out. You and That Lover's Face was on the flyers of all three of these, so I did want to let the public know that, if you were going to be there or not, so you could let them know. That's all.
Right.
So December 6th in Tijuana, main event, Cibernetico and Pagano against Samadonis and D-Lux.
When is this?
December 6th.
Okay. Say it again.
December 7th at Juan de la Barrera. I assume this is the...
But who's give me the top 3 matches December 6th in Tijuana?
I just saw the San Madonna's Deluxe
I'm
version.
glad you're prepared, but continue.
The next one was the next day in Juan de la Barrera, where the top two matches were for the Mega Campeonato with Alberto defending against Cibernetico, and then Matt Riddle defending the AAA Junior title against Laredo Kid.
It's a Latin American title.
Sorry, Latin American title. And then the next day after that, Monterrey. What I have is the top two matches being the main event, Octagon Jr., Cibernetico, and Luchador Sorpresa against Alberto Macias and the new version of Pierrot Jr. And then also there's, what's the exact title? The mixed?
I doubt people think it's the original Pierrot, Roy.
Okay.
You know, let me see. What were you asking me?
The name of the mixed title, is it called Mixed Parejas? The one with the man and the
Parejas
woman?
Mixtas.
Parejas Mixtas, with the champions Jessica Havoc and Crazy Steve defending against Iguana and La Hiedra, Larry Dallas's favorite luchadora. And that's about time. I'm actually glad to see Iguana and Hiedra challenging for these titles.
Yeah, so let me just add real quick. Also on that show, Juan de la Barrera, besides Sieber and ADR for his championship, and Laredo going after the Latin American championship that Riddle has, Octagon, Pagano versus Macias and Pierrot. I think you did say that.
I did. So,
okay, and then Nella will be there, Vikingo will be there. So you know, that'll be, we've sold out in every show last year that we were there or had 90% capacity. Then in Monterrey, Luchador Sorpresa. If you had to guess, who do you think it would be?
I didn't see Vikingo on the card, so my guess would be him.
Why would he be a surprise?
Because Alberto's in the match and it's
a surprise is usually somebody you haven't seen in a while.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Being Monterrey, well, we know it's not LA Park.
All right. Well, you'll see who it is. It's going to be a big deal. So the surprise wrestler, Octagon and Sieber versus Alberto, Macias, and Pierrot.
Why don't you reveal the surprise on the show?
Why would I?
Because we want insider information on the show for our Patreon.
Then it's not a surprise.
Well, we want some hot.
I don't know what you want. Get hot news. I'm not going to do that and get heat in the office just because you want me to.
Is Phoenix a surprise?
Could be.
Interesting. What about the Phoenix situation, Konnan? Did you see the latest on that?
No, I haven't.
Tony Khan has stated, this is all over the news today, that Phoenix's contract has been extended, but he's not being used. And everybody's about that. And I'm going like, dude, let me ask you this, Konnan. If WCW sucked right now, okay? If we were in the end of WCW, you were going in, your contract was supposed to be coming up, and you were going to go to New York, right? And Tony said, no, we're going to use, or Eric said, we're going to use our what do you call it, option, and we're keeping you for the next 8 months.
Right.
Okay, but we're not going to use you. Okay, I'd be like, great. I don't want to be. I don't want to just do jobs on this show. I mean, like, that.
Right. You're right. I would be.
But Phoenix should be absolutely ecstatic that he's getting. He is,
and so's Pentagon.
Right.
Okay.
Right, yeah.
If you were working for me and they pulled what they pulled on Tony, I guarantee you'd be on Collision, Rampage. Right. Everything. You'd be on everything. Right.
They pulled the same thing to Ricky Starks a couple days ago, too. They extended his contract. He was going to work all these...
the ribs on Tony, he's still paying them.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm serious.
Bro, the funniest thing is, I guarantee...
How does he think he's hurting them? How does he think... Disco, what do you think? I know you can't get into his mind, but how does he think he's him?
Let me just say this. Every single person in the business, okay, right. At least margin, but I'd say 95 to 99% of the people in the business, okay, and this shows the disconnect between the fans and the performers. 99% of them, if they're getting paid and the show is not doing well, they would rather just sit home and get the money to go out there and do jobs. Every single one of them. But the fans are like, can't believe they're doing. Well, I can't believe he's doing this. It's like, dude,
I can't believe he's doing this. Why?
Because it's just like Vince McMahon, they say. He's like he's just doing what Vince McMahon does. That's a criticism, and I'm like.
Has he answered it?
Tony, no, he's not addressing it. Are you kidding?
Right.
Bro, you know what the whole thing, like, so supposedly the Ricky Starks situation, because Ricky Starks is working a GCW, House of Glory show coming up. Okay, now he was pulled for the GCW shows. You know why he was pulled for the GCW shows?
No, because
the one to knock it Ricky Starks.
He doesn't like the owner of GCW.
No, that Effy guy.
Right.
Okay, the gay wrestler guy.
Right. You wrestled him, didn't you?
Huh? I wrestled him. Yeah, he's actually pretty good. The guy's actually very good.
Yeah, you put him over. Yeah.
Yes, he did. Okay, he cut a scathing promo on Tony Khan. And because of that guy on GCW cutting the scathing promo on Tony Khan, he pulled Ricky Starks from the show.
And then people ask me, you're seeing the paper trail. People ask me, oh, I don't believe that Tony was petty enough because you weren't putting him over on his podcast to go work with CMLL. You're seeing him right there. Right.
Right. So
it says here the quote that may have offended Tony the most is he was talking about AEW running Hammerstein, where GCW runs their big shows and blah, blah. And he says about Brett Lauderdale, the GCW owner, he says, Brett does not own a football team and Brett does not have a dad who pays him to stay away.
Well, how about when Tony went to TNA and buried everybody and said, you're a minor league thing, you don't have no money with Tony Schiavone? Bro, It's a promo. It's an angle.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, like, could you imagine that?
Yeah.
This was at a show. You know, so I don't know. It's I mean,
right. It wasn't like he was in an interview and then just
on Fox News with Tyrus, like
right, or with Chris Van Vliet, and just went off on him, right?
Right.
Did you see what Joey Janela said? How Phoenix should get out of his contract?
How
he said he should find Jungle Boy at Gorilla and take flight on him.
Hey, I just want to clarify something from before, in case you guys don't know it. The Effy statement or the Effy insult to Tony Khan, whatever it was, he actually said on his podcast. It was not a promo.
It was on the podcast. Interesting.
Yeah, so
okay.
It was. I'd imagine it was a shoot then.
Okay, interesting. Oh, so you say it on a podcast? It's a shoot. Okay, no wonder Tony doesn't like. No wonder Tony doesn't like us. Yeah, we could have we could say something on a podcast with tens of thousands of views. MJF could tear Manu in front of 900,000 people. He gets more upset at the tens of thousands that listen on the podcast.
Bro, we've been here. AEW's 5 years old. We've put him over a lot of times. Not once have we ever seen that in the press.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Hey, speaking of these press scrums, isn't it crazy? At these AEW things, a friend of mine who has a podcast with a couple thousand people, he was showing me someone that asked a question to Private Party, and the person only has 450 followers on all social media combined. It's how are these people getting into the shows with so little? What is it? It really must
because they probably have somebody there that checks the podcast and if they're pro AEW or pro or not. And if they're pro AEW, they probably don't give how many followers they have.
Yeah.
Yo, what's up? I just want to thank you guys for watching this clip. Don't forget to hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. And join our YouTube membership for hours and hours of exclusive, unedited, uncensored content. And being a member will help you get involved in our upcoming live streams. Thank you for your support. Thank you for riding with us. I know you got a lot of other podcast choices, be it wrestling or other ones. And thank you for picking us. Boom.